lately I've been enjoying the West Coast quite a bit.
Tour smarter. Tour smarter.
Door smarter. Door smarter. You know what the subject matter is. And door smarter.
I love my VORCAN in the bedroom.
Some people want to see something in the painting.
It's not like a call and response type of thing.
And VORCAN interview follow-up. Get some back to the green room for another conversation. It's brings you to town. Tell us about what brings you to town.
The Bridge. We currently are on tour with The Bridge, painting their shows. We designed their album art for their new album, National Bohemian.
Cool. I saw that online. It was nice. It was the one with the face and the bridge on their head.
Yes.
It's cool.
Yes.
I thought it was good.
Thank you.
Got classic VORCAN appeal.
Well, it's nice because now they've sort of implemented a lot of the album imagery into their posters, shirt, CD, sticker.
Fucking nice.
And so has been, you know, a nice, with our paintings out, and it's, you know, this tour has been fun. They've been opening some shows, playing the album in its entirety. Not very jam band like, if you know you're going to see the same
Very
album every
odd
night.
jam band.
More Decemberists.
More Decemberists.
You are
Portland.
breaking the jam band.
What would you say the average attendance for the tour so far has been, like, per night? Up and down? Variable? High, low?
Well, they had 1,300 for their open CD
Damn.
release, which was their biggest pull in Baltimore yet, at Ram's Head.
Ram's Head in Baltimore.
Then it sort of jumped around between about 800 and 400, and then maybe 600-700 last night. In DC, drove in this morning, got here around 5:30. Thank you for waking up.
That's alright.
Love it.
I didn't mind it. It gave me an excuse to play James Bond all night. It's fine. Do that anyway. So, good. How many shows got coming up from here to what you'd call the end of this stint with the tour?
13? Is it?
Damn.
12? Something
Well,
like that.
yeah, I would say that it's a quick run of cities would be Philly, York, Syracuse, Burlington, Boston, New York,
Okay.
Minneapolis, Wisconsin, Madison, Chicago, Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Then Chris is flying to Portland and doing 3 shows straight as soon as he gets off
With the bridge or with another band?
With Mike Dillon's band, Harry Apes BMX.
Cool. You're going back to Chicago?
I actually will be in Central PA for about 10 days. We're still sort of ironing out the next leg of tour. I mean, we're pretty much confirmed we want to do the southern leg of shows with the bridge. Start in Florida, drive up, do some Carolinas.
So following
Georgia.
this tour, there's another leg, another
Yeah,
part.
the Bridge is touring their album through pretty much all the U.S. So this is the first leg with Tea Leaf Green and then Galactic for the Midwest end of this tour, and then they'll be touring the album through the South to New Orleans with a show at Tipitina's, and then a festival in Austin, and then L.A. up to San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Eureka.
You guys have really been involved with them for quite a while now. I'd say like 2 years or something about that nature. 2 years with the bridge, maybe
Well,
a year.
the first painting we ever did with them was in 2006.
Oh wow, okay, so quite a while.
Yeah, I mean,
Would you say you've seen a change? Have they been becoming more successful during the time you've been with them? What have you observed about their particular development as a band, as artists?
I think this album is a big step up for them. I feel a lot of their...
Not to make you talk out of school about your cohorts in art, I'm just kind of curious what you've seen.
I think
Audience is the same.
we've seen
bigger?
growth because they do a lot of national touring, and so they have a good following out on the West Coast. I mean,
Okay.
in Portland anyways, and Eugene and over to the coast.
Cool.
I think musically, like, they've really grown over the past 4 years that we've known them.
Yeah.
With following the addition of their keyboard player, and then Kenny Leinert, who's the mandolin player, started
Sure.
writing more songs.
Sure.
And so now it's like kind of jointly written by Chris Jacobs and Kenny Leinert, and so their songwriting has gotten much better.
Cool.
And
Agreed.
so it's a lot more of a cohesive
Okay.
presence.
I agree. The songwriting, that's one thing that I would usually bring up in the description when people ask about the bridge is their songwriting. You know, what kind of band? I don't know. They're a band who writes original music, like kind of Americana songs.
Sure. Interesting. Talk about a little bit maybe about the art itself. I know you've been doing the Krylon thing for a little while now. I've seen some of those pieces. I'm saying it right, Krylon. That's still, I from what I can see on the website, part of the main kind of stuff you're working on right now, or is there any changes that I'm not aware of? I mean, I look at it online. You know, I don't necessarily know the technique or what developments, what different directions you're trying to go in right now artistically.
I guess speaking for myself, yes, you should get a shot of the Krylon typewriter.
Oh, we should.
Without moving.
Tara, would you like to add anything about your feelings toward having VORCAN art around the house?
I love my VORCAN in the bedroom.
I'm usually a big believer that dog toys make great, like, presents for babies. Yeah.
I love my VORCAN in the bedroom.
I'm usually a big believer that dog toys make great, like, presents for babies. Yeah.
To the clown.
I actually hadn't done that on purpose, and then when I later noticed it, I thought it was awesome of me.
Well done, great placement.
That's actually my uncle painted that. Not my uncle. It's like my great uncle, my mom's uncle. I don't know what you call that, but he was a fairly accomplished artist, and I've had that my whole life. And he passed away a few years ago, and apparently now his pieces are going for a decent amount of money. You know, it's the kind of thing you hope for to happen to you after you die. You know, not front page art world news, but did a lot of landscapes and things, you know, so.
More importantly, it terrorized your brother for years.
Yeah, my brother has, and I don't know if he still has it, but my brother was given an identical one as a baby, and he was very afraid of it, that my mom had to hang them in the hallway rather than our bedroom, because it's a sad clown, and it made Royce sad.
Where is Royce's sad clown?
I don't know. I really don't know where. My mom may have it. My mom may have it, because I don't think he was a fan of the piece.
Oh,
it's time to hang up. In
your mom needs to re-gift that at the
I know, right? Like scare another generation. Scare another generation. Yeah. I just remember Royce being like that. He rarely objected to anything and was like, "I don't like those paintings. Get those out of here." Kind of when we were really small, because they were sad. My mom was like, "Why?" And he's like, "They make me scared. They're sad." You know, or something to that effect. It's a vague memory, but I remember they were definitely placed in the hallway as kids, rather than in our bedroom or whatever.
I'm usually a big believer that dog toys make great, like, presents for babies. Yeah, like.
I'm gonna use that.
Well,
I'm gonna use that.
The stuffed animals?
I'm gonna use that. I'm like, here's your squeaky hot dog.
I'm just saying, they don't know at that point, you know, like.
And it's cheap, and it's fucking cheap.
It is cheap. Like, you're at the grocery store, and you're picking up wine for grown folk.
It's editing note to self. We're going to use Tara's bedroom comment, and we're going to do a quick cut to Portman saying, "I believe dog toys make great baby gifts." Like quick cuts. Like, see the interview now on YouTube. So moving on. So we were talking about art, Krylon. 3D. Last time I saw you guys, I don't follow you guys enough to know if things have changed since then or not. So fill us in.
Well, I think like we're ever changing our art and how we collaborate and stuff. You know what the subject matter is, and Vort's been doing these box paintings, these mosaics. They look like mosaics.
Explain box on boxes, in boxes.
It's doing a lot of like. Geometry. I don't know, a lot of squares. I call it boxing.
I believe I saw one. It looked like tile work to me. I saw it on the website now that you mentioned it. Okay.
And they sort of do look like mosaic panels and tiling, and like the idea is sort of they're not exact squares, and it's a little bit off, and so a lot of times, sometimes it'll take on a little bit of flow. It's meant to massage your eyes, and like.
I saw that. I saw it was tilted, was the way I saw it on the website. I thought it looked cool. I actually saw that one last night, just glancing over what the last show looked like or something in the background.
And I don't know, it's been fun, even though, I mean, I think that's been the biggest influence it's come out in a few live shows and a few studio pieces, and then I've been working on some other just larger solo like versions of that. Just I don't know. I call it boxing. I've also been doing like those reverse mosaics that were like a background and then taking like an oil paint marker and then turning it into chips of color instead of. But I felt like the piece that I did in Baltimore, the background, 8x10, like, I don't know, it's gonna be a studio piece, but that time it sort of felt like the most, because I don't know, it's boxing. So
okay,
I've been boxing. This is
cool.
Muhammad Ali.
No, it sounds fun. It looked neat from what I saw. Chris, you did a couple shows by yourself. I mean, you've got a pretty defined style. Anything you feel like you've learned or changed lately?
Well, I've been in Portland. I've been doing a lot more, I guess, impressionist type stuff. A lot of forest subject matter. Trees and water and scenery, landscape,
Mm-hmm.
but like impressionist type of style, sort of like lots of color, blocks of color, to make out things and bringing detail into it, but just using a lot of strokes, a lot
Cool.
of brush strokes.
Is that more studio work or
Well,
live
it
with
started to
artists?
translate over into live shows.
Oh, okay.
So I started in the studio doing stuff, but that kind of started happening then live, where it would be a lot more stroke for every song. I guess they both happened at the same time, but like just while I painted, I would just do one stroke per note, really, just kind of just keep going with the music that way and building
Sure.
some sort of imagery from that.
Sure. How's the with respect to travel? How's the stamina holding up? We're like year 4 of VORCAN, I think, something like that. How's the stamina? I mean, I know you're taking it back a notch a little bit.
I was
It
just
feels
gonna say
like
that we're in our 5th year.
Fifth year.
I mean, this tour, we just got back from a 2-month break where we hadn't painted in 2 months, and that was the first time that had happened in like 3 years.
Sure.
That basically since, I mean, I don't know.
it's tough life
good.
on the road, huh?
Well, no, it's great to be back on the road.
Oh, okay.
It's nice. I mean, we're already after 5 days planning into 2012. Almost into next summer with like ideas with what we want to do and where we want to take things and being more directional with like the shows. I mean, with the live art, we've been doing, a lot of our pieces, have been selling, and so we're
Getting some
I
success.
guess being more selective about, I guess, when we're doing shows, and then we're taking some downtime off, and then we'll do but this is pretty much the beginning of 3 months of touring.
Oh wow. Okay, very good.
With some pretty heavy touring. Some stuff with the Quick and Easy Boys thrown in there.
Oh neat.
They're our friends from Portland. We just did their album cover.
Oh great.
Album artwork before the bridge.
Great.
And I don't know. It's funny because these two bands, they'll cross over quite a bit, and they'll play each other's music sometimes. And
I didn't realize there was an association.
They became friends, And
Would you say you had anything to do with that connection?
I'd say we've been there at the same time that it all happened. We were
Facilitating it,
we were
perhaps?
painting the bridge, and maybe we helped facilitate it, but we were basically more like, say we were there at least to chronicle.
Oh, very good.
Via painting.
It seems like you're being humble, but we'll take that for an answer. Tape change.
I think we both talked also about trying to do more residencies where we can go into a city and be more effective there.
Meaning like a gallery show or hanging with more bands or getting established?
I mean, all of the above. When
Sure.
we roll into a town and get to a club at 5:30, 6 o'clock, hang out, that night, do the show, get up, have breakfast, and then on to the next town.
Uh-huh.
We're not making as big of an impact as we could be by sticking around for a few days, having 3 bands at the same venue, but during the day doing different things, and also just picking where we want to go, and
Sure.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
We always say try to tour smarter, I mean, we'll see.
Give me, that's for the trailer. Tour smarter. Tour smarter.
Tour smarter.
That's interesting because I've actually talked with other persons of an art persuasion about that idea that I think the people who are most successful often to me seem to be established in a geographic location. It's as simple as that, getting a foothold. So it sounds like that's what you're maybe talking about, like limited term footholds.
In some cases, I think at least one of my thoughts on that is especially if we're doing the same sort of venues, I guess it seems like when we do hit an area quite a bit, we've sold to a lot of people in that area, and so it's good that we go back a few months later, and I don't know, for instance, look, the best experience on the last West Coast tour was an in-home art show where we sold like 12 paintings.
Huh.
That was better than 4 nights, financially wise, so it can be good to stick around, meet up with people the next day, as opposed to, if you don't make this split-second decision right now, we're gone. We'll see you in a few months. It's more like, well, we'll be around a couple of days. We're doing this event, and trying to plan ahead on our downtime, plan ahead for more,
Sure. Well, I think a component I've seen with my very, very limited experience with visual art world is a lot of people want to be sold something, but when I say that, I mean more they're buying a concept, an experience, something more than the painting. When you walk into a gallery or a show where you have no relationship with the artist, how likely are you to buy something? It's up or down. It's up or down. But if you have some foreknowledge or relationship maybe with the artist or some kind of understanding of it, some reason to buy. So it sounds like maybe residencies. It just sounds to me like you're saying maybe that's a good roundabout way to possibly forge that, get that lever going.
A roundabout way of saying you're right. You got to be based in an area. But no,
Oh no, not at all. Maybe not so much. Maybe I'm saying creating like social relationships with people that cause them to buy. They have a. Yeah, definitely wasn't thinking necessarily the geographical way. It's more like getting that going.
Oh, go ahead. If you want to say something, I think on this, just an opinion is it does help to have the social connection where the person talks with you because
sure.
We make a lot more sales when we're talking with people, and then they have that to associate, like you're saying, the whole experience of like, oh, I got this, I met this person,
Do you still do repeat business when you come back to an area? Would you say you have that experience on a regular basis? Or I feel like our last interview you talked a little bit about you're a collector's art experience or something.
I think we start a lot of art collections.
That is it. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a lot of first-time collectors. And, but yeah, in our travels now over the past few years, we've definitely run into a lot of people that own a VORCAN or know of a friend that owns one, and that definitely gets people excited to purchase more.
Okay.
Because they have that connection with the artists. Over time.
All right. Good. What do you get a Wookiee for Christmas? Because the answer is clearly a VORCAN. so you guys tour a lot. A lot of us don't get to travel around in our daily lives or job. Curious, favorite places you're either coming up on hitting or places you want to get to, whether it be national, international, local. What do you think? Chris?
Well, lately I've been enjoying the West Coast quite a bit, and one of our usual traveling areas is Tahoe, San Francisco, Northern California, into Oregon. And those are all, I love those places, and I'm really excited to get back there.
Sure.
But as far as places that I'd like to investigate more, we were talking about setting up and painting for a longer period of time in a place. I would say that I'd like to be in the South more.
Oh, interesting.
Like South Carolina, Charleston, just Asheville area too, and just investigate other areas, for a short period of time. But
yeah, you haven't spent as much time down there. It would seem. Do you have have you had good success when you have gotten in that direction?
Yeah, I think
with the
we
sales
have.
And
met a lot of really nice people, really awesome venues.
Sure.
And people have bought our paintings down there.
Musically
critical.
Musically, the South is very loyal to, and I feel,
Explain. Loyal to what?
I don't know, government mule, perhaps. Why
questionable loyalties.
What have you? I mean, I'm just saying, you root for Alabama because they're close, or
Sure.
Now we're switching to football, but
Sure, no, I understand what you're getting at. I have that impression as well. I'm just kind of trying to tease it out.
I mean, I feel like that's where that guy who jumped on stage and then got upset about the painting.
Tell us about that. Give the audience some context. What are you talking about?
All right.
So what happened?
We were finishing up a tea leaf green set, at the bridge we're opening. This was opening night of the tour, and had finished, the painting. I did the first set. Chris did the second set. It actually had some boxing going on, and this guy was really upset. I think maybe about the repetitiveness of the boxing. Or I don't know what pushed him.
You're saying the boxing in your painting was bothering.
I initially thought that he was like excited about the painting, or somebody we knew, but I don't know. Anyways, it cut to the end of the night. A few minutes later, we've got the paintings all back at the merch table, and he said we were disgracing another artist, and that I thought.
So he jumped on stage and denounced your artwork to the audience.
I think he said this is bullshit, because that's what he kept saying in the lobby. So I have a feeling he was on track with, like, if he had one thing to get out, and he may have plugged the other guy. But this art moved him. It was my best. I was excited that it moved somebody that much to like jump on stage.
If somebody says you're doing something wrong, you must be doing something right.
Get escorted out by two people while still yelling and banging. Like, it was an effective medium. Like, paintings do like move people. So it was common.
So now this guy was a local boy. He was a southern boy.
I think he might have been defending another artist deep down. What his issue was, that it wasn't. We weren't painting like him. We weren't painting the music, but if it was, it's not that it was necessarily calculated ahead of time. That's what the painting.
He had a spontaneous reaction.
That's what that's what the paintings turn into. We don't talk ahead of time what they're going to be, maybe.
Have you had a lot of experiences of people getting angry at your paintings?
This is the angriest person. Like, yeah, sometimes people like get upset.
Some people want to see something in the painting, and they're like, they repeatedly come up to you and ask you to paint something, and then they get upset when you don't.
They bring their preconceptions of the VORCAN show. Not desirable.
It's not like a call and response type of thing. Sometimes it is, I guess, but I mean, like, for the most part.
Sure, but
I'd say 99% of the times, I'm not really listening to you, when people are yelling like, things.
It's good to know that people still have a reaction to art in this country.
Agreed. To jump on stage and then to really just let your...
He wanted to make sure that there was a fair exposure of both opinions, fair and balanced exposure of the opinions on this artwork. It's good. That's good. Well, I guess that we can wrap that up. I think it's time for 8-Bit Breakfast.
8-Bit Breakfast.
Courtesy of Tara Braun, cooking up a storm downstairs. So we'll say thanks for returning to the green room. We got a little bit more footage for you. Keep touring around. Make sure you stop by the studio next time you're back in town, and we'll get a few more Q&A. A few more minutes of Q&A. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good show tonight.
Cheers. Thank you.